The more we try to piecemeal and like take these things apart and like understand what they are, we're missing the point and reducing the capabilities of the vehicle we just took apart. Just get in the car. Like, here's the car. Start taking apart the engine. I wonder what this is for. Doesn't freaking matter. The car drives. Don't quit taking parts off the car. Yeah, but like, what does the tire mean, people? It doesn't matter. You drive on that thing. What tread does it have? You deal with it. Drive on the tread. Yeah, but what if a river comes? Well, then you figure it out. We spend all our time like messing with the parts on the car and like digging through the parts in the hood and like, let me get a PhD in the transmission of this car. Why? It's driving until you take it apart too much and like drain the oil and put it back together wrong, probably, right? Functional relationship, man. Highlight that. Everyone should write that down on the board. Like, what is the functional application of this thing? Good morning, guys. Rex here. We're going to go over a couple more questions and answers here. We have one in here. It's a little bit longer, so just bear with me. Could one say that the duty of a man to love God and to love thy brother is not necessarily a mission, but an obligation we have to the Most High? There's one question. We'll come back over and do them one at a time. But are the commandments a list of obligations, not tasks, not a mission, not a job to do? Question mark. If so, what is our mission? Question mark. If we are of our father the devil, unless we come to know him, then whom is our brother? Okay, and we have another paragraph here. Hold on. Once we come to know him, then we are to be separate of the world. Then whom is our brother? Brothers in Christ, correct? Brothers serving the Father, right? Then how are we to gain more brothers? That is the mission. Go out into the world and lead others to him. To tell the good news, and the Messiah died for us, and his blood paid the price, and that we shall serve a risen Savior. If we are following the commandments, then these things should naturally come to us. Serving him and leading others to him, that is the mission, to give the living word to all. Many will reject, but some will bear fruit. Okay, so we have some statements there, kind of laying out what he believes, and we have some questions, kind of looking to see if I would believe the same way. So, sorry about the hair, guys. Firecrackers. There's too many damn firecrackers around here. I'm sitting in the garage bored, having a beer, and I just sometimes go off too close to my face. So here we are. First question. Could one say that the duty of a man to love God and love thy brother is not necessarily a mission, but an obligation we have to the Most High? Man, so here's the deal. I like to keep stuff really simple when it comes to this stuff. There's different words. There's different, I guess I would like to know like the reason of the question. I don't know how that would really affect a lot of things. If you're trying to live God's law and commandments, then this, whatever that means, would happen, I would think, right? Like that seems like that's, sometimes I think folks really want to understand the mechanics of the verbiage. The problem is that in English, the word mission might be, there's a lot of different variations of what that means. And especially it's not a direct parallel maybe to the original language, right? An obligation, and then the question goes on, but the commandments are a list of obligations, not tasks, not a mission. So like if Papa tells us to do something, we need to just go and do it. We just need to execute. That's the simple answer, man. Just execute. And whether it's a task or a mission or an obligation, doesn't really matter. He tells us to do something in the commandment, we just go and execute it. If you really want to understand the taxonomy of how all these different categories are arranged on a flow chart, and that's his spiel. I mean, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but I think people sometimes get confused, and it's like they'll be trying to figure out the exact, way of snapping the gears together rather than just put the car in drive and just going. It doesn't really functionally make a big difference, I wouldn't think, unless I'm missing something more subtle in the question. But I mean, commandments, are they obligations? Well, I mean, yeah, if you're covenanted with him, right? If you have agreed on a contractual basis to serve him because he saved you and brought you out of Egypt and all that stuff, and then you covenant with him in the way he prescribes specifically in the Bible, yeah, it's more than an obligation. You choose to die to your old self and have this new life. And he outlines what that deal looks like. Man, my hair is insane. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing it now. It's like ridiculous. Hope it's not a distraction. But it really, the commandments, and I mean, the way I look at it is that the commandments are simply the definitions of his character and how he wants us to love each other. It's just defining what love looks like. Love towards him, defining that. Nope, none of these other gods, none of the other filthy stuff they're doing. Here's how you worship me. Here's how you love me. Defining what that means and defining what it means to love your brethren. We're commanded to love him and then love each other. Simple. Real simple. In terms of obligations and tasks, not a mission. So a mission would be to, and maybe this is in response to an older question, I think that was on the forum a while ago. But the whole duty of a man is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's maybe where this stems from. So fear God and keep his commandments. All the rest fleshes out from there, man. I suppose, and let's go into this a little further because there's different angles that he brings up here. Once we come to know him, are we then to be separate of the world? I think that's a natural consequence, right? Because if you are covenanted with him, there's a whole lot of the world you're not allowed to touch, not allowed to participate in, because it's a violation of love towards him and towards each other. So another part of this deal is, then whom is our brother? That's a good question. I think that what it first means is our brethren in the normal usage of the word, which means people that are in the same camp, people that are in the same covenant, the same covenantal responsibility. Covenant means an agreement. We agree to serve him and follow him. Hi, what's the matter? Don't you want to watch Surfer Jeff? Go watch Surfer Jeff. Go ahead. So that's our brethren right off the bat. There are other people around, but we're commanded to love them, right? So that's very specifically what it's talking about. I would say that the rest of his commandments are designed to have functions to allow other people to come in and become brethren and sojourn, right? And there's gates and checks for other people outside the deal to come into it, but they have to go through those gates and checks. It's not like you or me get to decide that deal. That's defined in the word. So the mission is to go out into the world and lead others to him. There are times where I've seen that was commanded to certain people. When Yeshua or Jesus ascended into heaven, he said to go forth and baptize all nations in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, right? And then he went up into the sky. So what does he mean by that? What does that mean? What does immerse mean? See, because when we say baptism, we think that means bringing them into a religion where they get baptized, which is a religious ceremony. What the word literally means, baptismo, means to immerse. Immerse in what? Immerse them in a religious deal or immerse them in his name, right? Immerse them in the program, the operating system. That's what I think it's talking about when it says, go forth amongst all nations. That's where the Great Commission idea, I think, comes from. But remember, who was he talking to? He's specifically talking to the apostles. They were called to do that. So that was their mission. What's your mission? I don't know. Some people probably shouldn't do that. in all honesty, if you're honest about it, some people probably should not try to go forth and evangelize because they don't have their stuff together yet. They still got paganism all over them, and they're bearing false witness against the God they say they serve. Until you're a fully grown adult spiritually, I don't think that that's even the thing, right? Everyone wants to evangelize after 5 minutes they've been into the program, and a lot of them grossly misrepresent what he's all about. They have no idea. They have no idea who that even is, right? So I don't think that all people have that mission, at least not at the same time, right? I think that we're all supposed to bear witness if someone asks and be ready. We're commanded, or we're advised in some of the commentaries to hey, be ready for anyone that has questions of what's the reason for the hope within you. You should have your pistols loaded at all times in case you have a target of opportunity. Someone asks you, hey, what direction to the truth? Right over there, man, right over that hill. See? Walk up this little thing there. There's a narrow path. That's where it is. Shouldn't be clueless. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm at. I have no idea. Know where you're at all times and know the path that you came down, right? Just kind of have peripheral awareness. And so that's maybe what we're called to do. But in terms of a mission, I would assume that everyone has a very specific purpose in life. To generalize that, is to fear God and obey his commandments. If you're doing that, he will probably lay all sorts of stuff in your path that you would even know until after the accounting. I didn't know that was you think you're doing your mission in life, maybe, right? Oh, I'm doing this mission. Meanwhile, you do stuff every day that you didn't even know was your mission. Maybe that's the case. Maybe you're doing your mission already and didn't even know it yet. Because a lot of times what we think is a good plan is not necessarily what he told us to do. Because we have emotionally driven decision making, and discernment is clouded by our own ego and emotion, which is very common. So that's a good question. That's a good discussion. That's something a guy could visit about and kick the ball around a while. And I'm not saying that's the way it is. I'm just saying that that's my thoughts, being that you asked me. Okay, I'll hold it in the palm of my hand to be corrected. Right? What are the commandments? A list of obligations. The commandments are a definition of righteousness. Right? Are they not tasks? Well, I don't know. Some of them are a task, I suppose. But I don't know why a person would think about it as a task. Is it a task to go over and give my wife a kiss when she comes in? Hey, come here. See? Was that a task? Oh, check it off the list there, what the hell, man? That's a shitty relationship then, right? Not a mission. Is it a job? Is it my job to go over there and, better do the duty, guys. Walk over the wife. I think that this... Well, I think that the more we try to piecemeal and take these things apart and understand what they are, we're missing the point and reducing the capabilities of the vehicle we just took apart. Just get in the car. Here's the car. Start taking apart the engine. I wonder what this is for. It doesn't freaking matter. The car drives. Don't quit taking parts off the car. Yeah, but what does the tire mean, people? It doesn't matter. You drive on that thing. What tread does it have? You deal with it. Drive on the tread. Yeah, but what if a river comes? Well, then you figure it out. We spend all our time messing with the parts on the car and digging through the parts in the hood and let me get a PhD in the transmission of this car. Why? It's driving until you take it apart too much and drain the oil and put it back together wrong, probably, right? Functional relationship, man. Highlight that. Everyone should write that down on the board. What is the functional application of this thing? The functional application of the commandments is to love him properly and love each other properly. That's it. What exactly the tasks, which things are on a task? All right, we're going to go have a picnic with a family. All right, on a picnic with a family, I need to understand which parts of the picnic are tasks, and some of them might be obligations, people, and some of them are a job. And some of them are a mission. Who let's go on a picnic with that freaking guy? The blanket with the white and red squares. That's a task because it's not really a mission, but it's a task needed to accomplish the mission. Go have a picnic over there. And I'm not yelling at the guy who wrote the question. I think it brings up a funny discussion. It's like, that's the way I see that. It's like, having a picnic is kind of simple. Like, we'll meet on the hill at this time, bring some food that's like not horrific, rotting, terrible stuff, and we'll hang out and love and have good companionship. So should I say hello before we put the blanket down or after we sit down? Dear sweet Lord in heaven. Like, this is the problem with people who get into the religious stuff. It's like, I need to understand the mechanics, because once I understand those things, then that means that I know it. That means that I basically am the boss around here. What's the actual motive for wanting to answer these questions? Just do the stuff. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter exactly what that stuff means. What's my mission at the picnic? Maybe you'll find out if you do the picnic enough times. Well, the mission was to hang out with my family and love them. And what's all the other stuff that happens in between the conversation, the look, the pat on the head, watching the kid play at the fire truck under the tree. Daddy, why is the sky blue? And then you explain stuff, and you're explaining more than just the sky being blue. You're explaining all kinds of other cool stuff. All the stuff in between the mechanics are the bones. We can be a skeleton of bones. People are scared of skeletons. They're in closets and stuff. They're like dead things, like just the bones. I got the mechanics right, people. Where's the meat on the bones? If you spend so much time polishing the bones, guess what? You have polished white bones. Kind of a scary dead corpse looking thing that's in the closet. Congratulations, you're in charge of Halloween. Like, we need to flesh out those bones, man. Like, those bones have no useful application unless there's little tendons on them, hooking down to muscles with skin over the top. It becomes a fully fleshed out body that can go and do human stuff. Now, we need the bones. Like, if I go and I'm going to play football, and I throw the football with my arm, and like, so this is called the tibia, right? And this is the fibia? Because it articulates off the whatever, just like you freaking tackled. Like, stop! Are you playing football? Or what the hell? What is your function in the football game? Like, did you know that the knee has a thing here? And when I kick the football at 47 points, just boom, get tackled again. Like, you really suck at football. You think you know a lot of shit about the anatomy of football, or like, blue 75, H3, go, 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 means that the guy will run here, and then here, see? And like, you can know the plays, but if you're standing there talking about the plays and not doing the plays, well, then you're just gonna get freaking tackled again. That's 3 times you got tackled. How many things are there in a thing before they switch the direction? 4? 4 downs, right? Okay, so you got 3 downs. You're gonna freaking get it this time? Here's your football. What are you gonna do with it now? Quit that shit. Run! Should I run forward, or should I pass it to this guy? Or should I throw it over the top of the dude? Just creamed. He got sacked. Now the other team has the ball. How about them apples? That's just a rant. Hopefully entertaining. Yeah, I was outside the wind. That's what did it. Playing the foosball out there. So hopefully that answers the question and some more. And it's not me like, I'm not frustrated with the person who asked the question. I'm just like trying to identify stuff that's the real dope between the question. Like, I'm trying to like figure out like the origin of why this whole category of questions becomes a focus point rather than the execution of what is being laid out, or rather than the function of God told us stuff to do. He loves us. Remember that one time he brought us out of Egypt? That's why he starts the 10 Commandments with that. Like, hey, I'm telling you this stuff because I love you. Remember, I'm the one that brought you out of Egypt and saved you from Pharaoh. That's reminding you that I'm doing this because I love you, and I proved that I loved you because I freaking destroyed Egypt's armies and killed all the firstborn that weren't sealed in the lamb's blood there, and that's proof that I love you. So just do this stuff, Moses. Like, just do the things, man. Hopefully that's helpful. It's really simple. And it's funny, like Yeshua said this too. The scribes and Pharisees got hung up on the same deal, and the kids got it every time, little kids. And Yeshua's like, unless you guys become like these small children, you're in no wise going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Because you guys like overcomplicate everything, and then you never execute. You know the mechanics. You're like dead man's bones, but there's no meat on the bones. Become like a small child. Where's daddy? Oh, there he is. You don't need to like process and flow chart out the relationship with, like, I'm going to go to your dad's house. All right, let's go visit grandpa. Go over to grandpa's, like, opening hymn to grandpa. Page 147, family. Oh, grandpa, you carve some shit on wood. We like grandpa, he smokes so much. GPC non-filters taught us how to catch a fish. Like, he's gonna be like, what the shit? You guys on drugs or something, man? Like, and then, okay, now's the formal eating of the food with grandpa. Oh, here's the food that grandma made. Like, can't we just like hang out with grandpa? Maybe he wants to like go give grandpa a hug. Well, we don't give grandpa a hug until after they light the candle on the left side of the table. Then we go and give the hug, and you go like this. Like, holy smokes. That's literally like what I think about when I hear that kind of stuff. Like, become like a small child. Don't overthink it. It's not complicated. Well, hopefully that was entertaining for you. Okay, I'm gonna go comb my hair so that I gotta impress the Mrs. Rex over here. I gotta look like a very fancy, groomed, exotic rooster.